I'm thinking about how, um, as if you've lived long enough, life will offer you many opportunities to burn everything to the ground, and if you're wise, you will take the decision. And as scary as it is, um, just do the thing. Just do what needs to be done. Um, and if I found that the actions that I knew that I was supposed to take and I didn't take because I felt like I needed someone else to validate my decision, um, and the cost of making the decisions, of making the moves that I needed to make, got higher. Um, and until like life forced me to move. And I always have this analogy of just actively moving and just getting kicked or sucker punched in order for you to move. The first one, it's yes, it's uncomfortable, but you at least you have the illusion of control, and you can kind of psych yourself up, and you can condition yourself around the movement. And when life has to force you to move, it's uncomfortable. um, you don't have that much time to condition yourself, and all of that. And I was thinking about this in I was reflecting over the past, I want to say 6 months, but it's actually been a year. I remember the moment that I knew that my life was calling me to a bigger a purpose. Could I call it a bigger purpose? Yeah. I was happy. Like I've always been I'm happy with my life. Um but I just felt like there was something missing. Um and the it's not confusion. There was a bit of a tug between, if I want more, am I communicating to life that I'm not happy with where I am? So yes, I would, to have desires and have goals, but I almost didn't want to move too quickly. Just so that I don't send the signal that I'm not. I know it sounds crazy. It's like now that I'm actually saying it out loud, and I've thought about it before. I'm just like, but that makes no sense because the built into the foundation of life is expansion. You look at a tree, it doesn't just decide, okay, this season I'm going to just produce um, 500 leaves. Um, it will produce as much as, like, abundance is built into the fabric of life, and well-being. And it's one of the first spiritual lessons that I got, that all of life is essentially here, for our growth and our development, and there are no limits besides the limits that we set for ourselves, right? So I think the confusion came from what I knew at a soul level, um, and it's also like the conversations that are happening, right? Even if they're not directly to, like, we hear things and we pick up little energetic frequencies, um, and this is why it's so important to be intentional about what we're consuming, intentional about the company we keep, the spaces we find ourselves in, because there is a subconscious programming that happens. And once you let your guard down, and even when your guard is up, like it happens so many times with little pearls, those little seeds. Um, you accumulate a lot more of them, then they build momentum. Um, I'm losing my train of thought. So it began a year ago. I was the happiest I've ever been in my entire life, and I wanted more. It just felt like there has to be more to this. It can't just be. It's not even that it couldn't just be that. I was curious. I really was curious to see. Oh wow! Because for the longest time ever, I had always limited myself to the expression of myself I could become, and I was in an environment that actually nurtured my growth, that just literally gave me a platform to just be myself and express myself and by that I mean creatively, personally, just me being able to wake up every single day and reach for the highest frequency I could access. And I think I got curious to how does it get better than this? What else is there that I haven't tapped into? And because all the ways that I'd held myself back came up. I was able to like slowly confront them. No, firstly be aware of them, and there was a lot of grief that I found came up from that. A lot of anger, where I had felt like there were people that obviously benefited from that, people that are happy with you staying in the same place because you are feeding or you're of service to them in a certain way. But I mean, I feel differently about it now because um, I have this outlook that everyone is a co-creative conspirator in me doing everything that I'm doing, and me being who I am, not even doing anything. So we're all each other's collaborators. Life is one big collaboration. So I think when I moved past the grief and just having to reconcile with the time that I lost, the opportunities that I didn't fully embrace and step up to, because I stepped up for, because I wasn't giving myself a complete permission to fully be in my power. I then was just able to let everything go and say, okay, this is a clean slate. This is a good start, a clean start for me, and really began rebuilding my life. And that's how I got to a point where I was at my happiest, I was my healthiest, I was at just like life was abundant. It still is. Life was it was just oh my gosh, delicious. It was delicious. And in noticing the consistency of the deliciousness, and wanting to see, oh, because one of my favorite questions to ask of life is, show me how it gets better than this, or how does it get better than this, and life always responds. But I'd gotten so used to asking it that I mean, because it builds momentum, right? But it had gotten to a point where now it was also requiring me to meet it, like step up. You want to see how good it gets. The idea, that big idea, that scary idea that you have, act on it, and then I'll kind of I'll show you how good it gets. And I I think I don't think I don't think I hesitated with a lot of when it was time to really like step all the way up, because then it required me to act, to not act, to to lean into my bravery, and the fear and imposter syndrome and all of that just kind of kicked in, and I didn't move in time, and then life moved me by force. And that's where I found myself then in the past 6 months, where I felt like I had no clue what I was doing. I was just like, I don't know nothing. I don't know a goddamn thing. Like, I just feel like I was dropped yesterday, and somehow it feels like everyone hasn't figured out, and I don't know what I'm doing, and people expect me to know what I'm doing because um, I'm Sylvester Falata. Like, what do you mean you don't know? So I yeah, so I think, and then I spent 6 months just trying to figure it out, and which was a beautiful opportunity because everything else that was like also all the false narratives that I built, um, it just collapsed. Like, everything just collapsed. All the foundations that I had built my life on that were not sustainable or that were not built in um, authenticity, and integrity just disappeared. So I spent the past 6 months just and internally, because I knew also, like, this is like, it's an internal project. It's not something that I can fix from the outside, because doing that is like looking in the mirror and touching the mirror and expecting the reflection in the mirror to change. But it's like, no, you have to, if you're looking in the mirror and you don't see a smile, you have to smile, and then the mirror will reflect that. And I'm grateful that I'm here and I made it, and I did the work. It was not easy. It was confusing, and I'm also just in a space where I'm comfortable with I'm comfortable with being in process. Like, I'll always be in process. And that's like, I feel like sometimes that's the illusion, is that you get to a point where you have it all figured out. And that's one of the biggest lies, that, and the belief that there's a force out there that has already predetermined our lives. Like, like you by then I mean, I want to reword that, like, that our lives are only like dependent by fate. We don't have power to influence where we go, because we do. And I think the past I don't think I know the past year was such a beautiful gift in initiating me into the higher level of consciousness. Firstly, just consciousness, and just living, and how my gifts unfold through my art, through everything that I do, and just having a bigger capacity for how having a bigger container to hold everything that I've been asking for. Because now and surprisingly, a lot of the things that I had been asking for now are unfolding in like the most miraculous ways. Where I'm just like, oh, what do you mean? Oh, it was so easy. And I think that's why before I grabbed my computer, I was just like, it's just, yeah, okay. And if life had set me down and wanted to tell me this in I don't know, in a session, I would have gotten it. It would have overwhelmed me. So I needed uh, to take like a scenic route. I'm having a visual of when Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy was saying to, actually, firstly, when Glinda was saying to Dorothy, um, if you want to go home, just click. She just needed to tap her heel, or click her heels 3 times, and I think of going back home, visualize being home, and that's all she needed to do, and then Dorothy's like, what? That's all that I needed to do, and Glinda's like, yeah. But if I told you, you wouldn't have believed it. You wouldn't. You needed um, to go on the adventure yourself. You needed to experience it for yourself. You've always had the power in you, but you had to experience it for yourself. And yeah, I relate to I relate to that. I keep pausing because like I'm getting it, and I'm getting it's getting to the marrow. It's reaching the marrow, and it's getting clearer. It's which one of these one of my favorite reasons, and one of my favorite things. There's so much happening in my brain. Downloads galore. It's one of my favorite things about just sitting in front of the camera and recording and journaling, because then in doing that, things get clearer and I'm able to just get them out of my brain and onto. They become. I crystallize it. It becomes something, a living thing. It's not a concept. It's a lesson that I learned, but now it's something I can touch and reference and continue to build on. And it's such a beautiful gift to be able to resuscitate your life. Again, like if you've lived long enough, you will experience setbacks, and that's how we grow. We get so much more from the setbacks than from the good times. I heard someone say that, and I was just like, please, I can I can go about my life without any setbacks. But now I get it. Like I get, because it's a chance for you to say, oh, there's more. Okay, like let's clear the table, and when we kind of put stuff back, it will be better. It would have improved. The experience of it will be something new. Um, it's a blessing. Like I don't take. I've never taken life for granted, but now my appreciation of life is like on a different level. My appreciation of knowing that I can come back from anything. There's like an unfuck with ability that I'm feeling, where I have so much belief, so much more belief in myself, so much more confidence in myself, and my ability to navigate this life experience as a human being. I might not have the answers, but I know that regardless of where I am, regardless of what is happening, I'm always going to be okay. And not just because I'm relying on my strength or relying on my own knowing, but it's relying on the forces of life that are always working in my favor. God, the universe, source. I call God by many names. Yeah, but that's irrelevant. What I call God, there's a supreme being. There's a life, the life force that is responsible for me being here. Is constantly available, and is rooting for me, is rooting for all of life, for you. So I don't know, just knowing that and remembering that makes me breathe a little easier and move with a lot more intention, and like when I step, there's a word I'm looking for, like when I'm stepping, I'm not shaky. Um, yeah, and I'm feeling grateful for that in this moment, and I'm excited for what the rest of life looks like because it's good. It's starting to get good. It's been good. It just we needed to clear the table, and now we're in the process where it's okay. The new tablecloth is on the table, and the setting is kind of okay, all right. I like the new china. I love the new crockery, and let's see how good it gets. Like life, how does it get better than this? Please show me. And when you do, may it unfold with ease, may it unfold with clarity, under grace, and in the most divine ways possible. Um, that's my prayer every single day.